I'm Eli, the Computer Guy, and today's class is Introduction to HTML Programming, or Hypertext Markup Language Programming. Hypertext Markup Language is the basic programming language that is used to create web pages. Almost every single web page that you see is programmed in one way or another using HTML. No matter what other types of languages you learn, whether it's JavaScript or PHP or anything like that, the main programming language glue, that you could say, that holds everything else together on the web is HTML. HTML is a very simple language to learn. You don't need any special software to be able to program in HTML. You may be saying, I have Dreamweaver, or I have some other very, very complicated programming, piece of web programming software. Will I be able to use this? Well, yes, you can use Dreamweaver to program in HTML, but you don't need Dreamweaver to program in HTML. Simple Notepad, that little text editor that's been around in Windows for 20 years, you can use Notepad, and actually Notepad is one of the better ways to create HTML documents. HTML documents are very easy to create, and you don't need any big specialized software. You may be asking, I just talked about Dreamweaver. So you say, Eli, HTML, I want to be a real web programmer. I've got Dreamweaver. I put down $800 or $2,000 or whatever for this big package of web development software. I don't care about HTML. Who cares about Notepad? I want to create the big fancy stuff. What you should realize is all of these very big fancy programs basically turn everything that you give them into HTML. One of the problems can be, and web developers learn, is sometimes the pieces of software you use to develop websites, they don't get the communication quite right, and so your web page doesn't turn out entirely how you want it to turn out. And so the only way to fix that is to go in and to actually edit the HTML code line for line. That's why you'll notice when you're using Dreamweaver or other types of web development software, you'll have 3 different tabs on how you can view the project that's in front of you. You normally have the editing tab, and this is where you get all the WYSIWYG. You can put in pictures, and you can increase and decrease the size of text and all that very easily. You have the preview tab. If you click on the preview tab, this will show you approximately how the web page will look in an actual web browser. But then you also have the source code tab. If you click on the source code tab, you will actually see all of the source code that goes into creating that web page. So if you understand HTML, you can click on that little source tab and you can see if there are any problems in the programming as it's been written. HTML is a very, very simple programming language. We're going to go through most of what you need to know today. I mean, this little 30 or 40 or 60-minute class will tell you basically how to program in HTML, and then you get to go on from here. Beyond simply being able to go into like the source code in Dreamweaver, though, where understanding HTML is relevant is, say you're posting ads on Craigslist. If you understand HTML, you can put in pure HTML into that Craigslist ad. You can put in pictures and flashy things and all that kind of stuff if you understand how to program in HTML. If you use a WordPress blog, you can plug in your HTML. If you understand HTML programming, running a WordPress blog is a lot easier. HTML is still a very, very, very relevant programming language, so don't dismiss it. This is one of the beginning courses in the web design series, but it's very important that you understand the basics of HTML programming before you go off to all that other fancy stuff. You will hear about HTML4 and now HTML5. These are the standards for the HTML programming language. 4 is what is currently used on the web, and it's currently what web browsers understand. HTML5 is the next set of standards that are going to come out for the web. Everything that you learn today you'll be able to use for years. Basically, what I'm teaching you today, I learned about 10 years ago, and it's still all relevant. So all you should remember about HTML4 and HTML5 is when HTML5 comes out, there will be lots of new cool features you'll be able to use and program into the web page, like video. You'll actually be able to plug in pure video using HTML5, but it'll be additional features. You do not have to worry about what you understand today not working in a little while. So give me a moment and we'll get into this class. Now, before we go into how you actually code an HTML web page, we need to go over some basic information about HTML. The first thing that you have to understand about HTML is that it is a static language, or it is a language that creates either static web pages or static parts of a web page. So when you look at a web page, when you go to Amazon.com or whatever other web page out there, they use multiple programming languages in order to create that really fancy, flashy website that you're looking at. The little login box, the time when it suggests what products you should buy, all of those things are not HTML, or they're not created with HTML. They're created with either something called JavaScript programming language, or PHP, or ASP, or a number of other programming languages. When you really start programming for the web, you will see that the average web page usually uses anywhere between 3 to 5 different programming languages to make those really flashy, fancy, modern websites that you're looking at. HTML creates the static parts of the website. So if you want to create a static page, let's say you want a website that will simply show I don't know, the location of your business, maybe a menu, something that you want to show to everybody in the world, and you want to show them the exact same thing. That is something that you would program in HTML. If you want to allow people to log into your website, if you want to tell people what the weather is today, the time, anything that's dynamic, anything that changes depending on who views your website, that will take a different programming language to create. So what we are talking about today is HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, and HTML only creates static web pages or parts on a web page. When you create a HTML web page, the suffix always has to be either .htm or .html. So if you're probably using Windows as your operating system, if you type a Word document, you'll give that Word document whatever title you want. This is a Word document, and it'll say .doc. It'll say .doc or .txt. This part, that for a web page always has to be .htm or .html. Nothing else will do for an HTML web page. So we'll show you this when we get into the programming. One thing that you can get messed up, especially with using a Windows computer to create your web page, is you don't want, if you create a web page for test, you don't want to end up with test.htm.txt. That won't work as a web page. So if you want a web page for test, it would be test.htm or .html. So it's HTM or HTML. Always has to be the suffix on the end of your title. The next part is if you are actually uploading your website to the internet. So let's say you are creating the home page for your business in pure HTML. You always have to name your home page. And this is the home page. So when somebody goes to, let's say, www.everymanit.com, it has to be named one of 4 possibilities, and you only get 4 possibilities. So the title for it has to be either default, or index. So when you name the page, when you name your home page, it always has to be called either default or index. And then the suffix has to be .htm or .html. So your home page, if you upload this HTML web page to your web server, it has to be called either default.htm or default.html or index.htm or index.html. The reason for this is the default file that the web server looks for as your home page. So it's kind of hard-coded into web servers to always think that the web page will be either default.htm or HTML or index.htm or HTML. So if you're uploading your web page to a web server, and this is going to be your home page, always make sure that it's either default or index HTML or HTML. If you're using Linux, a Linux web server, so you decide to put your website on a hosted web server. You use GoDaddy or One-on-One or I don't know, any of the other thousands of web hosting providers out there. If you use Windows web hosting, capitalization does not matter for the titles that you use. So index.html on a Windows server is the same as capital INDEX.html. So on Windows, these are the same thing, or IN capital DE capital X dot capital H lowercase t m uppercase L. On a Windows web server, these are the same thing. That's it. These are considered the same file. If you use a Linux web server, these are considered different files. So be very, very careful with this. I always tell beginning programmers, always do your web pages, the titles for them, in lowercase letters. The reason is there's less chance of a problem later on. We're going to go into hyperlinking and how to link different pages together. We're going to go into how to put a picture on a web page. And so this capitalization can cause a lot of problems. So when you title your pictures, you know, like picture.jpg, JPG, make sure it's all lowercase to begin with. Lowercase picture dot lowercase jpg, because this can cause a real problem. If you go to link to a picture and the name of the picture is picture dot JPEG. If this is what is on the web server, the picture that you're trying to link to, but you don't think about it, and when you write the code, you do uppercase picture.jpg, this will fail on a Linux server. Your web page will not be able to find this picture. Like I say, we'll go into this a little bit later, but this is very important. On a web server, the titles for your pages do not matter at all for Windows. On Linux, capitalization matters. This is a different file than this is a different file than this on Linux. Windows are the same, Linux are different. Also, the final bit for the basics is when you go out to start doing research on your own to find all the weird, cool little neat things you can do in HTML, you will see that some of the code is something called deprecated. What deprecated means is that this is code that used to be used, but that programmers are trying to get out of the system. So this code may currently work, but you shouldn't use it because basically everybody's just trying to wash everything out of the system. So don't use it. So deprecated code means it may still function, but you shouldn't use deprecated code. So with all of that, let me clean this whiteboard and we'll get into actually coding an HTML web page. So first, we need to lay out your web page so that a web browser understands what's going on. So the way we tell a web browser what it should do with types of information is by giving it something called a tag. So you have opening tags and you have closing tags. Now, since we are creating an HTML web page, we have to create the opening and closing HTML tags. So we're going to open up just a normal notepad file. We're just going to create a text file. And the first thing that we're going to do is at the top of the file, we're going to do the arrow, and then we're going to say HTML. So this is the opening HTML tag. Then at the bottom, we'll do some spaces here so we understand what's going on. We'll create the other arrow, and then we'll do backslash HTML. And this is the closing of the HTML page. So up here you have HTML. This opens an HTML page. And then you have backslash HTML. This closes the HTML page. Now, within the HTML web page, you have two parts. You have the head and the body. So we will open the head. So you have the little arrow, H-E-A-D. And then we'll have to give it a couple spaces. And then we'll close the head, backslash H-T-M. Or, oops, not that. Not HTML. Backslash H-E-A-D. So this opens the head and this closes the head. So head opens the head, backslash head closes the head. What the head is the head is where you put all the information that may be relevant to the rest of the web page. So the simple thing that you can put up here is the title tag. So we'll just do this. We'll open the title tag. Title. And we'll say, this is cool. And then we'll close the title. And we're gonna go over this in an actual demonstration in a few minutes. I just wanted to go over this before we go into the demonstration so you can kind of get it into your head. What this title tag does is, you know, at the top of the web browser, not the top of the web page, but all the way at the top of the web browser, above all the little arrow buttons and home buttons and refresh buttons, you know how there's a title up there? This is how you put that title in there. So if it says CNN.com, the world's best place for news, they put this tag there in order to put that. So the head, in the head you put things like the title for the page. You would put JavaScript. So if you're going to include JavaScript within the rest of your web page, you would put pointers to it up here. We're not going to go into that right now. But anything that is relevant to the entire web page basically goes in the head. And we'll show you that in a couple minutes. And then, so we have the head, and then for the actual document that everybody's going to be looking at, we have the body. So then we use the body tag, B-O-D-Y. And then we close the body tag down at the bottom. So this opens the body. This closes the body, and then everything in here is the actual website that people will be viewing. So if you want to put pictures, or if you want to put text, or if you want to put any of that, all of that goes in between these body tags. So now Now that you have an idea of these tags or how to lay out the web page, let's actually go into the computer. I'll type all this out and show you how it works. Okay, so now we are at the desktop and we are going to create our first HTML web page. So what I would suggest that you do is create a folder to put your web page in while you're still playing with learning how to create a web page. So I'm just going to right click and do new folder. So I'll call this folder test website. And we'll go into the folder. So now that we're in the folder, we can create our website. I'm going to go and open up Notepad now. And now Notepad is open. So as I was talking about, I'm going to create the basic structure of the HTML website. So to begin with, we do HTML, and that's the HTML tag. We'll go down to the bottom, and then we'll close the HTML tag. So this opens and closes the HTML web page. Then we're going to go back to the top, and we're going to do open head, and then we'll give a few lines, and then we'll close the head tag. So this creates the head of the HTML web page. Again, the head is where things that they affect the entire web page go. Under this, we will then open the body. And the body is where all the information that you'll actually see when you're creating the web page is. And then down at the bottom, we'll close the body tag. So we open HTML, we open the head, we close the head, we open the body, we close the body, and then we close the HTML. Now we'll do File, and what we're going to do is we're going to do Save As. We'll go to the desktop, and on the desktop, where is the test website? So the main thing that we need to make sure we don't do here is we don't want to save this file as a text file, a .txt file. We need to save it as a web page. So we'll click the Save As Type drop-down box, and we'll do All Files. So we'll act like this is a normal web page. So we'll call this index.html, and then we will save this. Now if we go to our folder, you can see this has a little Firefox icon by it because now the computer now thinks that this is a web page. So we can double click on this and we can open up, and well, we can see that there's nothing here right now because we haven't actually put anything into the web page. We just created the HTML tags and the head tags and such. So the first thing that we're going to do for this web page is give it a title. So the title goes up here. You see where this Mozilla Firefox is? So we'll minimize this. Oops. And we'll open up the Notepad document that we're working on. So in the head, we will create a title. So T-I-T-L-E. And we'll say, this is a test website. Isn't it darn cool? And then we close the title tag. T-I-T-L-E. So this will now be the title of the website. We'll go to File, we'll go to Save, and then we'll go over to Firefox, and if we hit F5 to refresh, look at this. See, the title is now, this is a test website. Isn't it darn cool? So this is all you have to do to basically create the core of your web page, your HTML web page. HTML, head, you can put title or whatnot in the head. You do your body, close your body, and close your HTML. So let's go back out to the real world, and we'll talk about actually putting some text into this document. So laying out your web page, or the basic layout of the web page, is pretty easy. it may seem a little complicated right now, but you do it 3 or 4 times, and it's no big deal. You just have to remember, open HTML, open head, open body, close HTML, and that's basically your web page. So now that we understand the layout of the web page, now we need to start talking about putting stuff into the web page. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the text that you're going to put into your web page. So HTML has a few basically predefined ways of formatting text, and when you use HTML, these are what you're going to use. If you learn a programming language called CSS or XML, you can do a lot of cool, fancy stuff with text formatting. But if you're using pure HTML, you've got a couple of options, and that's about it. So the first options are the heading options. So heading options are if you're going to put, let's say, a title on a page. So think about it as titles and subtitles, and you have headings anywhere from 1 through 6. So you have the heading, and you have 1 through 6. So 1 is the biggest. The 1 is the first title that you will use, and heading 6 is the smallest title you use. Oops, you can't see that. Heading 1 through 6. There we go. You can see that. So you ask, how do you code the headings in? How do you code that text? Well, it's very simple. You use the H tag. So heading 1, you use H1. And then everything that's in here, so if you say heading, you then close the H1 tag. And so this text right here will be formatted as H1 text. So it'll be very big and very bold. Then if you want a subtitle, let's say H2, you would open H2 tag, that'd be, let's say, a smaller heading, and then you close the H2 tag. So this again it's bigger and bolder than normal text, but it's smaller than H1. So H1, or heading 1 text, is the biggest and boldest text that you will see on a page. H2 will be big and bold, but it will be smaller than H1. H3 will be smaller than H2. H4 will be smaller than H4, or H3, and then it goes all the way down to H6. So you have 6 types of headings that you can put up there. H1 is the highest, H6 is the lowest. And so this is how you give certain parts of your, you divide certain parts of your web page by titles and subtitles by using these H tags. So once you've got the H tags, let's see if I can, you will ask, oh, this is horrible. Yeah. Hold on 1 second. So once you have the H tags, that's even worse. You'll ask, how do you do normal text? So, okay, so I now understand how to write headings. How do I do normal text? Well, for normal text, you use the paragraph tag, or P tag. So if you do arrow P, this opens a normal paragraph of text. So this is normal text. So you put in hello, how are you? This is a cool website. And then when you get done with the paragraph, you then close with a \P, and that closes the paragraph. So for a normal text, you open with a P, write everything you want in the paragraph, and then close the paragraph by doing \P. The P's, these paragraphs, are what will separate out paragraphs on a page. So if the one thing to remember with HTML is you have to tell or you have to program in everything. So if you type enter here, so you put white space, that will not show up in the web browser. So if you write a paragraph, then you do space, and then you write another paragraph in space, another paragraph in space, when it shows up in the web browser, you'll just have one big mass of text. There will not be any spaces in there. You have to use these paragraph tags to create those spaces. So the P says it's the beginning of a paragraph, and then the \P says it's the end of the paragraph. So if you want a second paragraph on this page, you would then do another P, and then you would say, this is the second paragraph, and then you close that out. So this would create 2 paragraphs. If you did not use these P's, it would all turn into just one mass. So now you understand the headings. So we have headings H1 through H6. All you do to write headings is you open with H1, H2, H3, H3, H4, H5, or H6 tag, write what you're going to say, and then close that tag. If you're going to write normal paragraph, just text on a page, you use the P's. Remember, P, this is for paragraphs, so you open with a P, and then you close with the \P. You just create multiple paragraphs that way. Now, if you want to do something such as, let's say you want to align your title in the middle, so you have the P or you have the H1, you use something called align. So let's say you want to create an H1 title that's in the middle of the page. All you do, this is very simple. You do H1, and then you simply say, there's a space, and then you say align equals, and then there's the quotation marks, and then say center. Enter. And then you say title, and then you close the H1 tag. And if you do H1 align equals center, you have whatever title you want, and then you close the H1 tag. Now the title will be in the center of the page. If you say left, it means the title will get aligned to the left side of the page. If you say right, it means the title will get assigned to the right side of the page. You can use this align for all of the heading tags and for the paragraph tag. So if you want the paragraph, if you want your normal text in the middle of the page, you would simply go P, align, and then equals, center, and then close it, and then write your text, and then close the P tag. Hope that makes sense. The last thing that we need to talk about is another way you can edit the text. So you know how sometimes you want to bold words in a paragraph? I don't know, maybe you're talking about the title of a book, or you're talking about a certain type of product, and you want that word to be bold. What you use is something called the strong tag. So if we open a normal paragraph and we go, this is, and let's say we want the word cool to be bold. We use the strong tag. So we would go open strong, and then we say cool, and then we close strong. And then we close the entire paragraph. So this is a normal paragraph text. You know that by the P. So this will look normal. And then cool will be big and bold. So it would look like this is, and it would be like really bold. So this is how it would look on the web page. So you can use the strong tag to make things bold. You can do, using tags like this, you can italicize certain words. in a paragraph. You can underline certain words. There are a lot of things that you can do with these types of tags within the paragraph tags. Let's go onto the computer right now, and I'll actually show you this on a real web page so you can understand how it works. So now we will program in a few of the titles, and I'll show you how the text works. So we have the HTML, we have the head, and now we are going to be in the body. So you write the text, or you put any of the information that you want people to see in the body. So all you do to create a title, or an H1 title, is you type in the H1 tag, and then you say, this is an H1 title, and then you close the H1 tag. And so this is going to create an H1 title. Now you'll notice when you're writing in HTML, you'll notice HTML and head and title and body and H1. All these are capital letters. You do not have to use capitalization when you are writing HTML, either with Windows servers or with Linux servers. You never have to use capitalization when you're actually writing the HTML code. I am doing it for you because it's kind of one of those best practices thing. If you are going to write your own HTML code for you yourself, and no one else is ever going to see it, then you can do all lowercase. If you are actually trying to get a job or have something that you're going to turn over to somebody else at some point, then you should do the capitalization, because that's considered best practices. So we created this H1 title. We are now going to do File. We're going to save. We're going to go over to our test website. We are going to hit F5. F5 refreshes. And now we have, this is an H1 title. So you see it's big and it's bold. Now we're going to go down and we'll do, and we'll do H2. I'll say this is an H2 TID. And then we'll just go down, we'll say H3. Oops, I am a horrible typer. H3. Okay, so we now have H1, H2, and H3. So you're looking at this in a little text editor on Notepad, and this doesn't look like much. But if we do File and we do Save, now we go over to Firefox and we hit F5 again. And now we see these titles. So H1 title is big and bold. It's the biggest and boldest. And H2 title is big and bold, but not as big and bold as H1. H3 is less bold than H2. H4 would be the same way. H5, H6, it just goes to H6. So you see how this goes. I'm not going to write out H4, 5, and 6 because who cares? But so H1 is the best, H2, H3. So if we want to then put just normal text into this page, we will do the P. So this is the paragraph tag. We go, this is some writing about my cool new web page. Isn't it spiffy? And then we close the paragraph tag. We do File, Save. So P, whatever you're writing about, isn't it spiffy? And then we'll go back and we'll hit F5 and see now this is normal text on the web page. It's just, just normal writing. Now, what if we wanted isn't it spiffy, this part right here, to be on a different line than the first sentence? Remember, white space doesn't mean anything in the web world. So if I just press enter here, you're going to think that isn't it spiffy should be on a new line right now. But if I do File and I do Save, you'll see that it's on the exact same line, because simply typing enter into your HTML code doesn't do anything.
if I want this isn't it spiffy to be on a new line, then I have to make sure it's enclosed within its own paragraph tags. So if I do P, there, and then I close this top tag. Now by having the paragraph open and the paragraph closed, this means this is one paragraph. Paragraph open, paragraph closed, means it's another paragraph. I do save. And now if I hit F5, now these are on two separate lines. So you have to use those. You open and close the paragraph tags to put paragraphs into different lines. Now that we've done that, if you want to do alignment, let's say H1. This is an H1 title. You want this to be in the center of the page. Then you do space. You do ALIGN. Make sure you do equal, quotation marks, CENTER, quotation marks. So H1 space align, no space equal. So this whole thing, there's no spaces here. It's align equals quotation marks center and quotation marks. We do file, we do save. And now you see that the H1 title is now in the center. If we wanted to do right, we just do RIGHT, do file, save. And now H1 title is now on the right hand side of the page. So by default, everything will be written from the left hand side. If you want a title, or if you want your paragraph in the center, you do align equals quotation marks center. If you want it to the right, you do align equals quotation marks right. So now let's say we have this paragraph here. So we say this is some cool writing about my web page, and then we want, isn't it spiffy, to be bold. We want it to be strong. So we can go down here, and within the paragraph tags, we can put the strong tag. So we put strong. So again, we open the strong tag, and then we close the strong tag. We do file, save, hit F5. And now you'll see that isn't it spiffy is all now entirely in bold. And you say, well, I want spiffy to be in bold. I don't want isn't it to be in bold. There's no reason to bold this. I want spiffy because spiffy is cool. So what you can do is you just delete the strong tag here, and then you just put the strong tag just right in front of the individual word that you want to be bold. File, save. And now, if we hit F5, you'll see isn't it is normal and spiffy is bold and strong. So that's basically how you code text in HTML. You use the for the headings, you use H1 through H6, and these are the different heading tags. For paragraphs, for normal writing, you use the P tag, and then for if you want something strong or bold, you use the strong tag. They also have italics tags, and they have underline tags, and they have superscript tags, and they have a lot of other tags. This is the basic overview of how it's done. If you need to know how to specifically format some text, just do a little Google search on it, and somebody will be able to tell you. So let's go back out in the real world, and we'll talk about creating lists.
So, creating a basic text on a page, HTML page, it isn't too hard. You just open with whatever tag you want to use, heading tags or paragraph tags, and you close with those tags. As long as you do that, it's pretty simple. Now, we're going to talk about creating lists. So, if you want to create little bullet point lists on your web page, or if you want to create numerical lists, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can do that using HTML programming. So in order to do that, you start with either an ordered list tag or an unordered list tag. So first, we'll start with the thought that we want to create the 1, 2, 3 list. You know, 1, 2, 3. So in order to create a list, 1, 2, 3 list in HTML, the first thing you have to do is open a list. So you have to create the concept of a list within the HTML program. So you do an OL tag. This means ordered list tag. And then down at the bottom, you close an ordered list tag. So this is the beginning of the ordered list, and this is the end of the ordered list. Then all you do is you use the LI tag. So LI. And then you say what you want to say. So here is 1. So if we want to do this, what we're doing here, 1, 1, we would open with an LI, and then we would close the LI. And this creates the first ordered item in your list. So this is an ordered list, this is 1. And then we would do LI, and then we would do 2. LI, and then we would do LI, and we do 3. So, if you wanted to create a list, 1, 2, 3, you would open your list. So, open with an OL for ordered list. You would do LI1, close LI, LI2, close LI, LI3, close LI, and then you would close the entire list. So, then / ordered list. This would give you a 1, 2, 3 list. Pretty simple. Now, if you wanted to create a bullet point list, this is horrible today. So you have 1, 2, 3, but instead of having 1, 2, and 3 in front of these items, you just want bullet points. You want bullet, bullet, bullet. That's all you want. Then you use the unordered list tag, or the UL tag. So you open your unordered list with the tag UL. Then you use the same tag LI for all your items in your list. So then you would do LI1, and then you would close LI. You would do LI2, and you would close LI. Then you would do LI, and then you would do 3. And then you would close LI, and then make sure you have to close the entire list. So / UL, and this closes the list. So this starts your unordered list. This is list item 1, list item 2, list item 3, and then you close your unnumbered list. This will give you bullet points. So bullet point 1, bullet point 2, bullet point 3, and that's all you have to do to create lists within HTML. Let's go back to the computer, and I'll actually code this out for you to show you how it works.
So this is all the old text, but now we're going to be dealing with these lists. So you have the unordered list and the ordered list. So we'll go back to our code. So this is the H1, the H2, the H3. So that you don't get confused with what you're seeing, I'm going to delete all this. So all this will go away, and we're only going to deal with the lists right now. So if we want an ordered list, we open the ordered list with the ordered list tag. Oops. So OL is the ordered list tag. And then each list item needs the LI tag. So we do that, LI, and we'll say 1. Then we'll do LI, oops. Then we'll close that LI tag. And then we'll do LI2. And then close the LI tag. 3. So OL opens the ordered list, then you do list item 1, list item 2, list item 3, and then you close the ordered list. We do File, we do Save. Now if we go back to our page and we hit F5, we now see our ordered list. Look, 1 goes to 1, 2 goes to 2, 3 goes to 3. See, isn't that cool? Now, if we go back to the HTML page, we will do the unordered list. So we open with the UL tag. UL tag is for unordered list. Then we do li. And then we close the unordered list. We do File, Save, and we go to the website. We hit F5, and so now we have simple bullet points. 1, 2, 3 as bullet points. So ordered list OL creates the 1, the 2, and the 3. So the numbered list unordered list UL creates the simple bullet points. And that's all there is to coding bullet points. So if we go back over, you OL, you open the list, LI, and then you close the LI. This is for each individual item, and then you close the entire list. UL again for an unordered list. The tag opens the entire list. You then LI for the first item, close LI. LI for the second item, close LI. LI for the third item, close LI. Close out the entire unordered list, and that's how you create a list. Simple, easy peasy.
So now we've gone over, putting basic text into your HTML web page, and we've gone over lists. I think you're seeing how easy this is. There's a lot of stuff to remember, but there's a difference between having a lot of stuff to remember and something really being complicated. HTML programming is simply you just got to remember a lot of stuff. If you remember the tags, all the tags that you need to remember, then it's really easy to do. You just type it out. So the next thing that we're going to talk about now are tables. So tables are basically like little spreadsheets. So if I want to create a little table, I don't know, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know, 7, 8, 9. So this would be like a spreadsheet. So maybe you want to do titles in here and numbers and something. Basically, it's all it is a table. So in order to create a table, again, you have to open the table. So we do it, and we do table, and that opens the table. Then all the way down at the bottom, we close the table. So this opens the table, and this closes the table, and then everything in between here will be creating these little blocks, basically. So you have rows and you have columns. So in order to create a row, you do the TR tag. So TR. So the TR tag opens and the TR tag closes. And so the TR, that opens and closes this entire row. Now within, so each block, you then use the TD tag. So TD, yeah, I'm kind of stuck in space here, and then you would do 1. So TR opens the entire row, TD opens the block, and then in between the TD opening and the TD closing, you put the information that you want to be in there. So we put 1. Then we would do TD 2 backslash TD, TD3 backslash TD. So that would be the first row. Then you would do TR for the second row, and then escape out of TR. So that would be row 2, and then TR, and this would be row 3. So the TRs open and close the entire row. TD opens and closes the cell. So this would have TD 4, and then TD, and then TD5, and TD6, and TD, and this would have TD 7. Oops. So, table opens the entire table, backslash table closes the entire table. TR opens the row, backslash TR closes the row. TD opens the individual block, backslash TD closes the individual block. And this is all you basically need to know for tables. Now, if you do table and nothing else to open up the table, then all of your information will be presented in a table, but you won't have any borders. So you won't see any of these borders here. If you want borders, then in the opening table tag, you would say border, and then equals, and quotation, we'll say 1, quotation, and then close. So table opens a table, you tell it border equals 1 width, and that will give you all these lines in the table. That's all it takes to code a table in HTML. Seems a little complicated. Let's go to the computer. I'll code this out for you and you'll see how simple this really is.
So now we are going to encode the table. So just like we've done before, we have to open the table with the table tag. So table opens the table. To make life easier, we are also going to give the table a border. You don't have to give your table borders, but it makes life a lot easier if you do. So type in border equals quotation marks 1, and that opens the table. So now we'll go down. Now to open a row, so the row is one that goes, rows go left to right, columns go up and down. So to open the row, we'll do the TR tag. Let's say we'll tab over a little bit, and then we'll close the TR tag. Oops. TR. So this opens a row and closes the row. Now we should put some cells in the row. So in order to put a cell, you do TD, and then you do first, and then you close the cell. And then you do another TD, you second, and then you close the cell. And then you open the third. And so this is the first row, and with 3 cells. So TR opens row, TD, first cell, close TD. TD, second cell, close TD. TD, third cell, close TD. Now we'll close out the table entirely so we can show you what this looks like. Now we do File, and we do Save, and now we go over to here. And now we have first, second, and third. So this is a small little table. Now if we wanted more rows and columns in the table, instead of having to type this out, I'll just copy and paste this so you can see. So I'll do Control C. Oops. Oh. Nope. Control V. Okay, so now this will be 4 rows. File, save, and then we'll go over to our website, hit F5, and so we have 4 rows. Rows go left to right with 3 columns, first, second, third. So you could have put anything in these little blocks. As long as you put something in there, then they'll show up. So tables are very simple. You open with the table tag. Like I say, give it a border, at least a 1. It'll make your life easier. Then TR opens the rows. TDs open the cells. Slash TD closes a cell. And then slash table closes the entire table. That's all there is to tables.
So we've gone over the text, and we've gone over the lists, and we've gone over the tables. Again, I don't think this is hard. A lot of memorization, a lot of stuff to remember, but this is not difficult. Now we need to talk about putting pictures into your web page. Now you'll see we're using all these tags. You may be thinking, how do you get a picture into the web page? I mean, you know how to get a picture into a Word document or WordPerfect, but how do you use H1 tags or whatever to get a picture into a web page? Well, the thing that you have to remember is you don't actually put the picture into the web page itself. This is not like a Word document. You use something called a pointer. So if you want a picture to show up in a web page, you have to upload the picture to a place with your website and then point to it, and that's how the picture gets into the web page. So if I want a picture to show up on my web page, the easiest thing to do is upload the picture into the same folder that has the web page that I'm dealing with. So you upload the picture into the same folder. And then from there, we just point to it. So if we want, I don't know, a little smiley face to show up on a web page, what we would do is we would upload the picture with a smiley face into the same folder that has the web page that we're dealing with. And then we would point to it. And so you point to it by using the image tag. So we would do IMG space SRC equals quotation marks, and then let's say this is called smiley .jpg. So SMILEY .jpg. And so by putting this line of code into the web page, this now will tell the web browser to grab this picture and put it into the web page. So this is how you display a picture in a web page. So you can display pictures that are on other web pages. So if you know the location of a picture on a different website, I use this for like my Craigslist. When I put pictures on Craigslist, I use pictures that I already have uploaded to Everyman IT. So instead of just doing smiley.jpg, you could actually point to the entire web address of the picture. So image src equals, and then you would do http and the full address to wherever that picture is. So then be www.it.com/smiley.jpg. So if I write in this entire line of code, this web page will go to Everyman IT and try to find smiley.jpg and put it into this web page. So it's pretty simple. All you have to remember is that you don't actually paste the picture directly into your web page. You just kind of point to it. So pretty easy. If you want a border, so let's say you want a little border around your smiley, you can do, after the image, the beginning of the image tag, you can do border, just like in table, and then you do one or more, and then src equals blah blah blah. And so if you do image of border equals src, that will give you a border around your web page or around your picture. The other thing that you can do, this is not highly suggested most of the time, is let's say the picture that you're dealing with is not the size that you want it to be. Let's say it's really big and you need it to be smaller, or it's really small and you want it to be bigger on your web page. You can actually type into the code to make the picture bigger or smaller. So if you type in the whole image src equals and then smiley. So this line of code will insert the smiley JPEG into the web page. Well, after that, you can say space width equals, I don't know, 300. And so it will now make the width of the picture 300. And then you do space and do height equals, I don't know, 200. And then close. So you can tell the HTML, how wide and how tall you want that picture to show up on your web page. All pretty simple stuff. Now, the one thing that will confuse people is you have the smiley picture, and you say, well, what if I want this picture to be on the right of the page, or to the left of the page, or in the middle of the page? What, do I just put align center somewhere in here? No. You actually use the paragraph tag to align your picture. So, if you have, so this is the first line of code, image src equals smiley.jpg. If you want that in the middle of your page, you would surround this by a paragraph tag. So over here, you would do P, and then do align equals center. And so you open the paragraph, and then at the other side, you close the paragraph. That's how you move a picture into the middle of your page. So just remember, you cannot put the align command into the middle of image src. You have to put the image src whatever into the middle of a paragraph tag. That's how that works. Now, if let's say the smiley JPEG is in a folder that's in a lower folder than the current folder you're in. So let's say you're in this folder right here, and you have a pictures folder. So this is where your HTML web page is. But you want the smiley face in the pictures folder to be put into your web page, to be grabbed. So you would just do the image src equals, and when you do the equals, you would do slash, tell it the folder name, pictures, slash smiley.jpg. And so what this will do is it tells the HTML to go into the pictures folder, and then in the pictures folder use smiley.jpg. Now, one of the things is when you're creating these web pages, you can be the picture that you want may be below you, in folders below you, or it may be in folders above you. So let's say you have a folder above you, and this is where your web page is. So your web page is here, but the picture that you want is in the folder that's above the folder that you're currently in. In order to get to that, you would do image src equals, and then you do dot, period, backslash, and then the smiley. So if your web page is here, this tells the HTML to go to the folder one up from you and get the picture from there, the smiley picture from there. So if you need to go 2 up, you could do dot slash smiley. That would say go from this folder to the next folder up to the next folder up. And that's how you get to higher folders. So in order to insert a picture into your web page, all you use is the image src tag, image src equals. If the picture is in the same folder that the HTML page you're dealing with is, then you just type in the name of the picture. If the picture is below you in a different folder, then you do slash picture, or whatever the folder name is, and then the picture name. If it's above you, you do period slash whatever the picture name is. And if you want to import, or if you want to grab a picture from an entirely different website, you do src equals. And make sure you type out that entire web address to that picture. So not just www, http //www.everymanit.com/picture/smiley. So if you want to grab a picture in from somewhere else, from an entirely different web page, you have to type in the entire web address. If you want a border, right after the image, you put in border equals :1 or quotation marks 1 quotation marks. If you want to increase or decrease the size of the picture on the web page, you type out everything, and then after the end quotation mark, you then do width equals quotation mark, however wide you want it to be, close quotation mark, height equals quotation mark, whatever height you want it to be, close quotation mark, and that's how you make the picture bigger or smaller. And if you want to align the picture into, let's say, the middle of the page, remember you cannot do that within the image tag. You have to put the image within a paragraph tag. So you do P, open a P tag, paragraph tag, P space align equals quotation mark center, and quotation mark, and then you put the image. That's a lot to say. Let's go onto the computer. When I actually type this out for you, it'll make a hell of a lot more sense.
So now encoding images into HTML is pretty easy. So I've copied this logo.jpg, this just JPEG logo, into the same folder where our index HTML file resides. If we open it up, we can see it's my nice little smiley computer face. So we're now going to go back into our HTML code. We are going to delete these tables because we don't want to confuse you. And now I'm going to show you how to add that image into your HTML document. So what we do is we create the image tag, and then we say src equals, and we do logo. Now notice, remember, the HTML code doesn't have to be uppercase or lowercase. That code can be whatever it wants. But when you're pointing to a specific file, picture, if you're pointing to anything outside of the HTML document, if you are using a Linux server, then the capitalization has to be the same. So I have this lowercase logo to point to the logo.jpg file. If this was a Linux server and I typed in uppercase logo dot jpg, if I did this and this was a Linux server, this would error out. The picture would not show up because the picture name is not uppercase logo, it is lowercase logo.jpg. So that is, we put that there. And we just close that tag. So that's all you do with an image tag. img src equals logo. So we do file, and now we do save. We go to our document and we hit F5. And now we have a really big smiley computer. So now my web page has a picture on it. Again, remember, you don't cut and paste the picture into HTML. You simply point to it. Now I'm looking at this this smiley computer, and this is a really big smiley computer, and I don't want the smiley computer to be this big. Now, as a web designer, what I would do is I would open this up with Photoshop and actually shrink this picture in Photoshop. That is the best way to deal with resizing a picture. But you can resize a picture in HTML, and this is an HTML class, so I will show you how to do that. So we go back to our code, and here all we do is we type in width equals, and we'll say 300. And then we'll do height equals 300. And that's all you do. So we tell it the width, we want the width to be 300 and the height to be 300 pixels. We do file, we do save, we go back. So now we have a really big smiley computer. We hit F5, and now we have a smaller smiley computer. And as you notice, this picture actually isn't a square, so now it looks squished up. So you just have to keep that in mind, that you may have to keep your proportions correct, because you can, with this code, we could say that we want the width to be 200 and the height to be 800. We hit File, Save, and the web page will do exactly that. So we have a really tall, skinny computer person now. So you just keep that in mind, is when you type in the height and width, it may not keep your proportions proper. Now we're going to go back, and just to make life easier, we'll just do them both as 200. We do File, we do Save. So we go back and we have a smaller computer now. Slightly out of proportion, but okay. But we notice this is now on the left-hand side. Now if this is your logo and you want it to be in the center of the page, so you want it to be over here, what are you going to do about it? Well, you then put your image within the paragraph tags. So we do P, then we do align equals center. And then we go to the other side and we close the paragraph tag. So we have now put the image within the paragraph, and that's how we align the image on the page. So if we click Save, go back to our website, our little smiley computer is now sitting in the middle of the page. So just remember, you cannot put the align within that image tag. You have to put the whole image. It's called an element, the image element within the paragraph. Now let's go back to our folder. Oops, not that folder. So this we just added the picture, and the picture is in the same folder that the index.html file is. I will show you, if we want to move, we're going to put this, we're going to do a new folder. Oops. So we're just going to call it, or let's call it pictures. So it's a good idea to always put things like pictures into the same folder when you're creating a website, just so you don't have pictures scattered everywhere and you lose track of them. So let's say we're going to take this logo picture and we'll put it into the pictures folder. Now that we've done that, if we go back to our web page and we hit F5, we will notice this. Now nothing shows up, no image shows up, and the reason is because that little pointer is now pointing to a place where the picture no longer is. So if we go over, we go to our code, we go to the img src, and then we type in pictures, and then /. So this will say that logo.jpg is in the pictures folder. We do File, we do Save, and now if we go back to our web page, it is there. So that's how we tell the HTML that the picture is in the folder underneath in the pictures folder. Now let's say we go and oops, not that one. And we're going to put this on our desktop. So now the logo will be on our desktop. See logo.jpg. Our test website is here, and our index, the HTML that we're working on, is in the folder. But we want to point to this picture up here. What we do is we go to the code, and we simply type in /logo.jpg. So this means that the logo.jpg picture is one folder up than the current file that we're working on. If we do File, we do Save, go back to our website, and we hit F5. Well, nothing changes because it's going to the same place. So if the picture is one level up, is one folder up, you do // and the name of the picture. If it's below, in a folder below, You do the name of the folder / the picture's name. Also, you can do it on an entirely different website. So you could do HTTP www.everymanit.com. Pictures.jpg. So this I can put in that this is where one of the logo files is sitting all the way over on Everyman IT. So I can type all that in. Now remember, it has the HTTP colon / www. Don't just put in www. And then we hit F5. And there's the logo picture that's sitting on everymanit.com. So that's how you insert an image into your HTML document.
So there's a little more to adding pictures into your HTML web page than there is with basic text. But again, it's all pretty simple. As long as you understand the tags, you'll be good to go. The final thing that we're going to talk about are hyperlinks. These are the little pictures or the text that you click on a web page that either takes you to different pages within the website that you're visiting or takes you to an entirely different website. So hyperlinks are any of the places that you can click and basically go somewhere else. These are very, very, very easy to code. You use what's called a href tag. So you open your hyperlink, and you do a space href equals, and then you do open quotation marks. So if you want to go to an entirely new website or a page on an entirely new website, you would put in http colon / and then wherever you want the person to go. If you want to go to a different page in the current website, so in your website, let's say they're at home and you want them to go to about, then again, if that about web page is sitting in the same folder that you're in, all you would do is you would say about and then .htm or HTML. Depends on you or what you code, but you have to write in exactly what it is. So if you made the about page .html, then you have to do about.html. If you made the about page about.htm, then you just type in about.htm. Again, if you're going to a web page that's below this folder, you would just put in the folder path. So you do colon / I don't know, pages / about.htm. And so if you're sitting in this folder and then you have a pages folder here, and that's where about is, then you say go to the pages folder and then go to about.htm. Just like with pictures, if this about or if this page that you want the person to go to is above you in the folder structure, then you would do /about.htm. So if the page you want them to go to is in the same folder that you're currently in, then you just tell them the page name. If it's in a folder that's below your current folder, then you tell it what folder it's in and then put the thing. If it's above, then you do // and that tells it that's in one folder above and to look there. If you want the person to go to an entirely new website, make sure you type in the entire website, starting with http colon / www. If you just put in www.everymanit.com, that won't do anything. Won't go anywhere. Then, after you close this, you can put in something called target. So target tells a web browser where you want to open this new web page. So when you go to this new web page, where do you want this new web page open? By default, you You simply open the web page. So you go from the current web page you're in to the next web page. I like if you use target underscore blank, then you open a new window. So with tab browsing, you would open a new tab, and in that new tab is where you would go. So if you're on my website and I have a hyperlink to somebody else's website, I will then have the target equal underscore blank so that a new tab or a new window opens up with their website. My website stays open. So that's what you can do with the target. This got a little messy. So that's how you open it up. A ref equals, let's say, about htm, and then you just close it. If there's no target, then you just close it. Remember, default is you'll just open it in the same window that you're at, and then you just write in whatever text that you want to be the hyperlink. So if you want to say learn more about us, then all this text will turn into the hyperlink, and then you just close the href with the A. So this opens the hyperlink. You then put whatever you want the hyperlink to be in the middle of this tag, and then you close it. It's that simple. So you can put a picture in to make it a hyperlink. If you were putting a picture in instead of words, you would do the a ref equals about htm, and then if you want the picture to be the hyperlink, you would do image src equals smiley.jpg, and then you would close that, or close that with the A. So if you want learn more about us to be the hyperlink, you do ahref equals about.htm, you write out learn more about us, and then close the ahref tag, and learn more about us will now be the hyperlink. If you want a picture to be the hyperlink, you would do ahref about, and then you just put the image src tag in the middle of that. That's all. It's pretty simple. So let's go on to the computer, and I'll show you how this works.
So finally, we're going to show you how to do the hyperlinks. So hyperlinks are the links that you click on, and you get to wherever you're going. So we're just going to delete this picture here so we don't get confused. So let's create a simple hyperlink. So we'll do the href equals, and then we'll just do cnn.com for a moment. cnn.com. So this is where we put in where we want to go. Now we're just going to do a text link right now. So we'll go to cnn.com and then close the ahref. Actually, let's make this a paragraph. So we put a paragraph in the middle of that. We'll do File, Save. We'll go to our website, hit F5, and now we have this little hyperlink. Since we didn't do a target, when we click on this, we are simply going to go to cnn.com. And yep, we're at cnn.com. So let's go back to now. Let's look at the our HTML code again. And you say, well, I don't want I want another window to open up. I don't want the window that they're in to be replaced with wherever they're going. So that's where you use the target. So we do target equals blank. So by doing target equals blank, we do File, Save. We go back to our website. We hit F5. We want to refresh. And now when we click on this, see, so our original tab is open, and it now opens up CNN in a different tab. So again, this is good if you have links on your website where where you're sending people to other people's websites, you may not necessarily want them to leave your own. So by using that blank as a target, by doing target equals blank, you can have the other website open and keep yours open at the same time. So now let's say you want to do a picture. So instead of using text as we did here, you want a picture. All you would do is in the middle of the ahref tag, you would put your picture. So we would do img src equals so our logo is still sitting down in the pictures folder. And so now by typing in this code, the logo is going to turn into a hyperlink. So we do file, we do save, we go back. And so this is the HTML, the web page. And now here's the logo. And if we go over it though, you'll notice that it's now a link. So if I click on it, again, it will send us to CNN. So that is how you turn a picture into a link. So all you do for links is it's a space href equals wherever you want them to go. Target, if you want them to use the window they're in now to wherever they're going, just leave this blank. If you want a new window to open up, you do underscore, you do target equals underscore blank. And then between the ahref and where you close it, you either type in text that you want people to click on, or you put the code for a picture. That's all you have to do. Now, if let's say instead of you wanting the person to go to a new website, what if you just want them to go to a different page in your website? Well, we can just type in that page. So we'll do about.html. So by doing this, we'll make this link go to your about page. We don't have an about page, so we'll fix that right now. So we'll just do new folder. Oh, no. Delete. Yes. So do file, new, and we'll create a little about page really quick. HTML. So I've created the HTML, I've created the head, or I've opened the head, I've closed the head, I'm now in the body. We'll just do a very simple H1, and then we'll say about. It's just so you know you're actually going to an about page. We then close the body, and then we just close the HTML. And now this is very short, but it's a complete web page. We now do file. We remembered we do save as. We go down here, save as type. We do all files. We don't do text document. And then we save it as about.html. And then we do save. And now we can close that. So if we go to our index, let's close this out. So now our picture is the link. If we click on the link, we now go to the about page. So that's simple. I mean, all I did was put in a title, but you get the point. You could have the full about page there. That's basically all how hyperlinks work. Again, if the page is below in a folder that's below where you're at, you would type in the name of the folder / the page you're going to. If the page is in a folder that's above where you are, you do .. / and then the name of the page. And that's hyperlinks for you.
So now you know HTML programming. That's about all there is to it. Learning to do HTML programming does not take a lot of smarts. You don't have to learn huge amounts of things, really complicated things. You just have to do basically a lot of memorization. If you do the memorization, then you can learn HTML programming. Or if you can just have a cheat sheet right beside you and use that, you can do HTML programming. HTML programming is very easy. Again, HTML programming is the first step in web programming. I showed you, again, how to create a static web page. So this is a web page that will never change. When I go to it, I'll see the same thing that you see, that your brother sees, your mother sees, your lover sees, whatever. There's no login boxes, there's no telling you the time or the weather, because HTML creates static web pages. Now, as we go forward, we will go into things like JavaScript to give you things like little login boxes, PHP in order to grab information out of databases. Those are the languages that really make websites really cool. But you need HTML first before you can get to the programming languages that are very cool. So take what I taught you today and just start playing with it. This is HTML programming is basically like learning how to spell when you're in 5th grade. It's all about doing it. The more you write stupid little web pages, the easier it'll be, because you'll simply start to remember how to do all this. If you have a business, if you're trying to promote something, I would say, we talked about Craigslist advertising in one of my classes. Go on to Craigslist and then every day hand code an advertisement on Craigslist with a little picture, this, that, or the other thing. That would be a very good kind of tool for just memorizing how all this stuff works. It's all very simple. You just do an opening tag, you do a closing tag, an opening tag, a closing tag. You mix a few tags, and that's it. As long as you understand how it works, it's simple. If you need information on how to do HTML programming, don't feel like you have to go out and buy any of these $20 or $30 or $50 books. Just go to Google and type in HTML programming, and there are thousands of free, wonderful resources available. When I was doing a little bit of research for this class, I just typed in a few things, and every time I typed in a Google search, I got what I needed. Lots of people, lots and lots of people have written about HTML programming, and they'll give you all of the information that you need. The one thing in this class that we did not go over, that is normally gone over in introductory HTML classes, is how to create forms. The reason I did not go over how to create forms is, again, HTML can't do anything dynamically on its own. So like comment boxes in blogs, the front part that you see where it asks for your email address and it asks for your name and your comment, that is all actually programmed in HTML. So you can do text boxes, you can do option boxes, you can do all of that. The thing is when you click on the little submit button, that submit triggers either JavaScript or PHP or ASP to actually do something. So the reason I did not go over forms today is because until you go into JavaScript or PHP or any of that, you're not really going to understand what to do with a form. It's really kind of worthless. So there's no reason to bog you down. We'll go and do forms later when we're actually teaching you how to use it properly. So this was the HTML class. It's very simple. Get out there, play with it. Like I said, if you can't figure out anything, any way that you're going to play with this to kind of sink it in your head, just go out and start playing with it on Craigslist. You've got something to sell. Just Craigslist, you can plug in pure HTML code, and it will pop up when other Craigslist visitors view your post on Craigslist. So do that, if nothing else, in order to understand how HTML programming works. Well, I'm Eli, the computer guy, and this was Introduction to HTML Programming. I look forward to seeing you at the next class.